Writing doesn't usually fail because of a lack of talent, but because consistency feels hard to sustain. Most writers don't need more motivation. They need systems that make showing up feel safer, lighter, and more human. This is a collection of 101 habits, exercises, and structures designed to help you move from stuck to consistent. Not through pressure or perfection, but through small, repeatable actions. You don't need to use all of these. You don't even need to use most of them. Look for the ideas that feel supportive rather than demanding, or that spark interest in your brain. Those are the ones meant for you. Let's start with 20 writing habits that make writing feel easier and not harder. Number 1, set a tiny daily goal. Most people fail at writing not because they lack discipline, but because their goals are too big for real life. A tiny daily goal, something like 100 words or 10 minutes, works because it lowers the emotional cost of starting. What matters here isn't productivity, it's reliability. When your brain learns that writing is safe, doable, and finite, resistance drops. You can always do more, but the power is knowing you don't have to. Number 2, write at the same time every day. Writing at the same time each day isn't about forcing inspiration. It's about training your nervous system. Repetition teaches your brain to expect writing at a certain hour, which makes starting feel less dramatic over time. This works best when you choose a time that fits your real energy, not an idealized version of yourself. Number 3, treat writing as a non-negotiable appointment. When writing lives only in your head, it's easy to postpone. When it lives in your calendar, it gains weight. Treating writing like an appointment shifts it from optional creativity to something I show up for. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to arrive. Showing up is the skill you're building here. Number 4, stack writing onto an existing habit. One of the simplest ways to build a writing habit is to stop asking your brain to remember it. By attaching writing to something you already do, like drinking a morning tea or winding down at night, you borrow stability from an existing routine. Over time, one action naturally cues the next, and writing becomes part of the rhythm of your day. Number 5, call yourself a writer. Identity shapes behavior more powerfully than motivation. When you start calling yourself a writer, even quietly, your actions begin to align with that belief. This doesn't mean you have to feel confident or accomplished. It simply means you're someone who writes. Imperfectly, inconsistently at times, but honestly. Number 6, use a writing log or journal. A writing log does something subtle but important. It creates a body of proof. When self-doubt says you never write, your log quietly disagrees. Whether you track word counts, time, or feelings, you're building a visible record of effort. And effort is the foundation of progress, even if and when results feel slow. Number 7, celebrate small wins, all wins. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a small win and a big one. It only knows reward. By celebrating after you write, even briefly, you reinforce the behavior itself. When writing is followed by something positive, your brain becomes more willing to return to it tomorrow. Number 8, forgive imperfect days. Missed days are inevitable, so what matters is what you do next. Punishing yourself or trying to make up for lost time often breaks the habit entirely. Consistent writers aren't perfect, but they're excellent at restarting. The faster you forgive and return, the stronger your practice becomes. Number 9, write first drafts without editing. Drafting and editing use different parts of the brain, so mixing them slows down both. When you allow yourself to write badly on purpose, you protect your momentum. You're not lowering standards, you're postponing the voice of judgment. First drafts exist to exist, and editing can come later when the material actually exists to be worked with. Number 10, write because you write, not because you feel inspired. Inspiration is unreliable, but established systems are not. Most writers discover that motivation often appears after they begin, and not before. By writing regardless of mood, you teach yourself that creativity is something you practice, not something you wait for. This is one of the biggest shifts from hobbyist thinking to sustainable craft. Number 11, reframe resistance as progress. Resistance doesn't mean you're failing, it often means you're close to something meaningful. Discomfort shows up when you're stretching beyond what's familiar and starting to grow. Instead of treating resistance as a stop sign, treat it as feedback, messaging telling you that this is the edge of growth. The goal isn't to feel comfortable, it's to stay present while feeling uncomfortable. Number 12, use effort-focused affirmations. Outcome-based praise is fragile, but effort-based praise is far more durable. When you reinforce showing up rather than results, you build resilience. We persist longer when effort is valued over performance. Writing regularly becomes sustainable when "I showed up" is enough to mark the event as a success. Number 13, visualize yourself as a committed writer. Visualization works best when it's realistic, not idealized. Instead of imagining bestseller success, picture yourself writing on ordinary days, tired, distracted, imperfect, and still continuing. This kind of mental rehearsal strengthens identity and follow-through far more than fantasy ever could. Number 14, track your progress visually. Progress feels abstract until you can see it. Visual tracking, calendars, streaks, simple check marks turns effort into evidence. Visible progress increases follow-through, not because of pressure, but because the brain wants continuity and recognizable patterns. Number 15, define your why. Your why doesn't need to be impressive, it needs to be personal. When motivation fades, purpose carries you forward. A clear emotional reason, curiosity, healing, expression, acts as an anchor during difficult phases of the work. And there will always be difficult phases. This is what keeps writers going when enthusiasm inevitably dips. Number 16, revisit and revise goals monthly. Goals should support your life and not compete with it. Monthly check-ins allow you to adjust before burnout sets in. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's strategic self-awareness. Sustainable writers revise goals as often as they revise sentences. Number 17, reward streaks. Short-term rewards help habits stick, but longer streak rewards reinforce identity. When you acknowledge sustained effort, you teach your brain that consistency is valuable. Be careful to choose rewards that restore you. Rest, enjoyment, space, not ones that create more pressure or obligation. Number 18, set minimum and stretch goals. This approach protects consistency while leaving room for ambition. The minimum goal guarantees success, even on hard days, and the stretch goals are optional, not expectations. This structure prevents burnout while still allowing momentum when your energy is high. Number 19, remove pressure by treating writing as exploration. When writing becomes a performance, it's understandable that fear might then take over. When it becomes an exploration instead, curiosity tends to return. Play activates creativity and reduces the possible threat response your brain might try to throw up in a protective wall. You're not proving anything with your writing, you're discovering what exists. Number 20, study basic habit science. Understanding habits shifts the question from "what's wrong with me?" to "what's missing from the system?" Your habits are built from cues, routines, and rewards, and not personality traits. When writing struggles, adjusting the system is far more effective and sustainable than increasing self-criticism. Here are 20 simple environment tweaks that help writers focus. Number 21. Designate a writing space. Your environment trains your brain, so when you write in the same place repeatedly, that space becomes your cue for focus. It doesn't need to be aesthetic or permanent, just consistent. Familiarity lowers resistance, sets up repeatable triggers for your brain, and helps you get into the habit faster with each repetition. Number 22. Clear distractions gradually. Focus isn't about willpower, but reducing temptation. Removing even one distraction improves your attention span and mental endurance. Start small and start with just one change at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to remove all possible distractions all at once. Each layer of reduced noise gives your mind more room to stay inside the work. Number 23, keep your writing tools ready. Every extra step before writing is an opportunity to quit, which is why preparing tools in advance reduces friction and the likelihood your brain will sidetrack you. Habit research consistently shows that ease of access dramatically increases your follow-through. Make starting almost automatic and as friction-free as possible. Number 24, use ambient sound or background music. Sound can act as a focusing container. Steady, predictable audio masks interruptions and helps some brains settle into flow. The key is consistency, using the same sound trains association, much like a ritual. Number 25, write by hand occasionally. Handwriting slows cognition in a useful way. It encourages reflection, emotional processing, and deeper engagement, which can be especially helpful for character work. This isn't about replacing typing, but expanding your creative access points. Number 26, set clear and realistic goals. Vague goals increase anxiety, whereas clear goals reduce it. Specific targets remove ambiguity, which is one of the biggest sources of avoidance. How do you know you're aiming toward the goal if you can't see it and don't know where it's supposed to be? Writing becomes easier when you know exactly what done looks like. Number 27, use timed writing sessions. Time boundaries create psychological safety through knowing there's an endpoint. Having a time limit makes effort feel manageable. Timers help writers enter focus without fearing endless exertion. Number 28, change environments when stuck. Stagnation is often environmental and less often creative. New surroundings introduce new sensory input, which can break mental loops and spark new possibilities and ideas. Even small changes, another room, a window, a picnic on the grass, can refresh your perspective. Number 29, establish a pre-writing ritual. Ritual marks transition, signaling a familiar pattern and purpose. A small, repeated action indicates that it's time to write. Over time, the ritual itself becomes calming and focusing, acting as an inviting doorway into the work. Number 30, create simple mood boards. Visual cues shortcut imagination, draw you back into the setting and offering inspiration. Mood boards help you enter the emotional landscape of your story quickly without forcing language too early. They're especially useful when words feel distant but the feelings are accessible. Number 31, use writing prompts to begin. Prompts remove the burden of choice and can get your brain to approach problems from surprising new directions. They're not a crutch, they're a doorway. Starting with guidance often unlocks momentum that leads far beyond the original prompt. Number 32, carry a place to capture ideas. Most of your thoughts are fleeting by nature unless you can keep them on a permanent loop. Capturing the creative ones reduces frustration and mental clutter. More importantly, it reassures your mind that ideas are safe because they won't be lost if they appear at inconvenient times. Number 33, hold weekly planning sessions. Planning once saves energy many times over. Weekly clarity reduces daily decision fatigue, making it easier to start sessions without resistance. Planning doesn't replace intuition, but serves as guardrails guiding it. Number 34, focus on one scene at a time. Large projects overwhelm when viewed as a whole, and a lot of writing projects can easily be daunting. Narrow focus makes progress possible because it's drawn down into small, manageable forward steps rather than a whole mountain trail to trek. Today's job isn't the entire story, but it's this moment, this interaction, and only this one page. Number 35, end sessions with a closing note. Stopping strategically is a gift to your future self. Leaving a note, or stopping mid-thought or sentence, reduces startup friction next time you return to write. This technique is used by many professional writers to preserve momentum and avoid the daunting blank, white page, or new chapter heading. Number 36, display goals where you can see them. Out of sight often means out of mind. Making goals visible reinforces intention without requiring motivation. Keep in mind that your choice of language matters here because invitations generally work better than demands. Number 37, organize your files simply. Complex systems create invisible resistance, while simple organization reduces friction and removes avoidance disguised as preparation. The easier it is to find your work, the more likely you are to return to it. Number 38, use clean, distraction-free writing tools. Visual clutter drains attention, while minimal tools support sustained focus by reducing your cognitive load. This isn't about features, but about mental quiet. Number 39, track mood and energy after writing. Patterns reveal themselves over time. By noticing how writing affects your mood and energy, you learn when and how writing serves you best, and not just when it feels productive. Number 40, notice your natural writing pace. Speed is not the same as skill. Understanding your natural pace helps you set goals rooted in reality rather than comparison or an unrealistic version of yourself. Sustainable writing respects individual rhythm and will easily outlast any other systems you might try to establish. Next is a collection of 20 low-pressure writing exercises for writers where they're starting to feel stuck. Number 41, free write regularly. Free writing trains fluency, though perhaps not quality. By challenging yourself to consistently removing the pause to judge, you teach your brain that words are allowed to exist imperfectly. This is one of the most effective tools for breaking creative paralysis. Number 42, sketch a background character. Low-stakes writing helps to build confidence, and background characters let you explore voice and detail without plot pressure. Often, depth discovered here quietly strengthens the whole story. Number 43, write a character's morning routine. Routine reveals personality in the small choices, the ones that expose values, fears, and priorities more naturally than dramatic events. This exercise builds character depth through everyday detail. Number 44, write from a minor point of view. Seeing events through another lens reveals bias, misunderstanding, and emotional distance. All powerful tools for layered storytelling. Use a different perspective to discover and create new meaning. Number 45, rewrite a familiar story. By borrowing an existing framework, you reduce invention pressure and focus on voice, tone, and interpretation. These are essential skills for original work, and the best way to learn is studying something familiar and uncovering some clues about how it was created. Number 46, write a festival or gathering scene. Communal spaces reveal culture organically. Through shared events, readers learn hierarchy, values, and tension without exposition. Start out by focusing on something small because one interaction can carry the whole scene. Number 47, combine maps with sensory detail. Worlds become real through sensation. Adding sound, texture, and temperature grounds imagined places and makes them emotionally inhabitable and familiar, not just visually described and flat. Number 48, write a dialogue-only scene. Dialogue is a fantastic tool for exposing subtext. Without narration to lean on, you sharpen rhythm, voice, and implication within your characters and for your writing. What's unsaid often becomes the most powerful element. Number 49, build a scene around an emotion. Emotion drives the action. Without it, there's no point in the action even happening. Starting with feeling rather than plot trains emotional causality, which is a very strong predictor of reader engagement. Everybody wants to feel a connection, and it's in the emotion that you'll find it. Number 50, do timed writing sprints. Focusing on speed leaves very little time or space for you to give attention to the inner critic. Short, focused sprints encourage instinctive storytelling and reduce overthinking. The goal isn't polish, perfection, or flawless prose, it's simply momentum. Number 51, use a one-sentence ritual. On days when energy is scarce, continuity matters more than output. Writing a single sentence keeps the project alive in your mind and reinforces identity without draining you. Consistency isn't about volume, it's about staying connected. Number 52, write dual perspectives. Writing the same event from different viewpoints reveals misunderstanding and emotional distance, all of which add depth and realism. This exercise strengthens empathy and narrative complexity, letting the parallel perspectives reshape the truth. Number 53, keep a creature-object diary. Writing from a non-human perspective removes social expectations and performance pressure. It's a form of play, and play is a powerful gateway to originality. Giving yourself a little distance from human norms and necessity can open interesting creative possibilities. Number 54, make a what-if list. What-if lists generate possibility without pressure, encouraging divergent thinking. You're not choosing yet, you're exploring the landscape and giving yourself an opening to think of new options. To spend more time on the twists and turns that are possible can reveal options you never realized were sitting right in front of you. Number 55, write a sensory-heavy conflict. Conflict isn't only visual, it's also physical. Focusing on breath, temperature, tension, and sensation makes scenes more immersive and avoids familiar cliches. Readers often feel conflict in the nuances and details before they fully understand it. Number 56, translate a myth into your world. Myths endure because they encode universal emotional patterns in storytelling. By adapting one into your setting, you borrow tested structure while practicing interpretation, which is a core creative skill. Number 57, write an internal-only scene. Interior space is also a narrative space. This exercise strengthens emotional depth and psychological realism, helping you write thoughts as lived experience rather than explanations. Number 58, invent a legend or folktale. Stories within stories create depth, widen the world, and create more complexity. Invented legends add history, belief, and cultural texture, making fictional worlds feel lived in rather than constructed. Number 59, write a character letter. Letters reveal what dialogue often hides. Letter writing often changes the structure, purpose, and meaning behind what words go onto the page. Without interruption, characters expose longing, restraint, and contradiction. This is a powerful way to discover voice and relationship dynamics. Number 60, write a 100-word summary. Summarizing forces you to identify what truly matters, both emotionally and structurally. This is a diagnostic tool as much as a writing exercise, and the constraint often forces clarity of meaning. Next, we look into 20 ways reading makes you a better writer without studying too hard. Number 61, read widely across genres. Reading outside your genre challenges assumptions and introduces new narrative tools. Creativity thrives on cross-pollination, and a broader range will expand your imagination. It's impossible to know exactly where you'll find your inspiration, but diverting from your normal will often lend surprising results. Number 62, read with gentle attention. Enjoyment is data, very important data that you can use when you write too. Noticing when you're engaged, without overanalyzing, trains intuitive understanding of pacing, voice, and tension. Number 63, reread favorite books. When the story is known to you, the structure becomes more readily visible. Rereading turns admiration into understanding. You can find new depths to your craft by revisiting familiar stories with a new, more developed lens of awareness. Number 64, read introductory craft books. Craft books offer language, resources, and reassurance. They don't replace the practice of writing, but they normalize struggle and provide tools to name what you're already sensing. These books can give you perspectives which resonate and add to a toolkit collection you can personalize to your unique style and needs. Number 65, pair learning with practice. Knowledge sticks through application and practice. The sooner the better. Using one concept immediately prevents information overload and turns theory into a lived skill. Number 66, limit how many craft books you read at once. Don't get too caught up in reading all the craft books all at once. And do not think you need to read them all before you start. These are companions to your writing, and while valuable, not a single one of them will do as much for you as the act of writing. Too much advice creates paralysis, while fewer voices allow clearer integration and stronger confidence. Number 67, track techniques you admire. By noticing what moves you as a reader, you build a personal craft compass, which is more useful than generic rules. Building an awareness of what moves you sharpens your attention and helps you fold it into your own practice because you have a clearer idea of what you're looking for. Number 68, use prompt books thoughtfully. Prompts are tools, not constraints or impossible challenges. They can shake you out of freeze or give you a step up out of a rut. They reduce decision fatigue and help you start, which is often the hardest part. Number 69, study dialogue in books. Dialogue carries subtext, power, and pacing. Notice interruptions, silences, and what's left unsaid, because these often matter more than the words themselves. Number 70, study descriptive passages. Pay attention to how authors select details. Not how much they describe, but what they choose to include, and by that measure, what they choose to leave out. Description is important, but it's impactful when you can use it to shape the scene and affect the mood. Number 71, read about writing routines. There is no universal process, no perfect checklist, no routine guaranteed to work for all writers. Seeing diverse routines dismantles myths about productivity and success, replacing them with realism and permission. They also give you a plethora of options to pick from, so you can take just the best for yourself and create a unique practice that always works for you. Number 72, notices common challenges. Struggle is not a personal flaw, it's a natural occurrence in everything you do. Recognizing shared difficulties reduces shame and builds resilience. Difficulty is part of the craft, but you don't have to be alone or think it's because you're doing anything uniquely wrong. Number 73, keep a reader's journal. Brief responses help transform reading from consumption into creative fuel. Reflection can deepen your insight, give a name to ephemeral concepts, and help you strengthen your writing in the process. Number 74, study pacing intentionally. The pacing of your writing helps to control the emotional engagement. Try to notice where you lean forward, hold your breath, or feel the urge to toss the book across the room. And notice when your eyes start to skim and your mind begins to drift. Your reactions are valuable feedback. Number 75, study world building selectively. Effective world building appears gradually, supporting story rather than competing with it. Info dumping is more likely to lead to people skipping paragraphs rather than appreciating the magic of what you've created. Exercise restraint and strengthen the immersion. Number 76, read habit-focused books. This is an important area of focus for understanding why you do and do not sustain a long-term writing habit. Understanding habit formation empowers you to design systems that work with your brain and understand why some things resonate whereas others fall flat. Number 77, read writer interviews. Hearing how writers actually work imperfectly replaces fantasy with practical persistence. Reading, hearing, and seeing how others work demystifies their success and shows you how to achieve the same. Number 78, read blogs or essays. Blog and essay pieces explore lived experience beyond instruction, helping writers feel less alone. Long-form reflection offers nuance, depth, and companionship in the words of others. Number 79, read writing biographies. Biographies reveal setbacks, pauses, and persistence across a realistic timeline for a creative life. Skills develop over months and years, and careers across decades. We constantly grow and learn, and biographies can be gold in the lessons they teach. Number 80, balance learning with writing. If reading becomes avoidance, gently return to the page. Practice is where growth happens, and forcing it is only going to make your mind more resistant in the long run. Rest, take a break, let your mind recharge and change gears as it needs to. Learning supports your writing, but it will never replace it. Here are 10 reasons why writing alone is hard and what can help instead. Number 81, join a writing group. Writing is solitary by nature, but consistency often isn't. A regular writing group provides structure you don't have to generate alone. A rhythm, a shared expectation, and a sense that your work exists alongside others. Over time, this external structure quietly supports internal discipline, especially when motivation wavers. Number 82, attend structured writing sessions. Sometimes the most powerful support is simply not being alone while you work. Structured writing sessions, even silent ones, reduce isolation and create a shared container for focus. The knowledge that others are writing alongside you can make it easier to stay present and continue. Number 83, find a writing buddy. A writing buddy offers accountability rooted in relationship rather than pressure. Regular check-ins, brief and human, can strengthen commitment without turning writing into a performance. You don't need a crowd. Often one steady connection is enough. Number 84, participate in short challenges. Short challenges work because they're temporarily, creating urgency without permanence, which is a useful spark for stalled projects. A clear time limit concentrates energy and lowers the fear of long-term commitment. For stalled projects, this kind of bounded urgency can be enough to restart momentum without overwhelming you. Number 85, share progress publicly. When you share progress, even quietly or with a small audience, your goals gain weight. Focusing on process rather than outcomes helps maintain accountability while protecting vulnerability and creative safety. Visibility can often change how intentions feel. Number 86, attend workshops or conventions. Stepping into a writing-focused space can recalibrate your attention. Workshops and conventions combine learning, inspiration, and community, often accelerating growth through immersion. Chosen thoughtfully, they can reconnect you to craft, motivation, and purpose. Number 87, exchange critiques carefully. Feedback is most useful when it's intentional. Clear boundaries. What kind of critique you want and when. Allow feedback to sharpen skill without eroding your confidence. Well-timed perspective can illuminate blind spots while still preserving momentum. Number 88, join forums or online communities. Even quiet participation in online communities reduces isolation and normalizes the long arc of learning to write. Simply witnessing others persist can be enough to reinforce your own commitment. Belonging matters more than being in the spotlight and will help sustain your motivation. Number 89, take masterclasses selectively. Focused masterclasses work best when chosen intentionally and paired with immediate application. Depth, not volume, is what allows new insight to turn into skill. More instruction doesn't always mean more growth, so do your research and find what most speaks to you. Number 90, use accountability servers or apps. Regular check-ins, whether daily or weekly, make effort visible and help stabilize consistency. These systems work best when they support, rather than police, your practice. Externalizing commitment reduces reliance on willpower, but they should never be set in stone. And for the final stretch, these are 11 writing tools that make writing easier. Number 91, use a dedicated writing app. Keeping your writing in one consistent place reduces mental overhead and makes returning easier. When your work feels accessible, it invites continuation rather than avoidance. Number 92, try dictation. Speaking accesses a different creative pathway than typing, even if you find it odd or awkward at first. Dictation can bypass perfectionism, physical fatigue, or overthinking, allowing ideas to emerge more naturally. For many writers, it restores a sense of flow and storytelling rhythm. Number 93, use visual planning tools. The mind works better when it doesn't have to hold everything at once. Visual tools, boards, cards, diagrams, externalize structure, freeing mental space for creativity. Seeing the shape of a project can reduce overwhelm before writing even begins. Number 94, use habit trackers. Habit tracking turns abstract work into evidence, reinforcing identity through proof rather than pressure. The goal isn't perfection, but collecting proof that acts as an acknowledgement of presence. Consistency grows when effort is visible, and evidence will build your confidence. Number 95, use timers intentionally. Timers contain writing sessions, reducing the fear that they'll stretch endlessly. When the end is known, starting becomes easier and focus more sustainable. It will likely still be uncomfortable, but with a known end, you'll find that discomfort far easier to overcome. Boundaries make effort feel safer. Number 96, gamify writing carefully. Light gamification, points, rewards, side quests, can restore curiosity and engagement when writing feels heavy. Used thoughtfully, it supports momentum without replacing intrinsic motivation. Play lowers the stakes and reminds you that there is almost always a way to create more fun. Number 97, use revision checklists. Checklists break the process into manageable steps, clarifying what to focus on next. Structure turns revision from a vague burden into a sequence of decisions. Number 98, try NaNoWriMo or similar events. Community writing events create momentum through collective effort, reducing isolation and self-doubt. Flexible participation allows you to benefit from the structure without absorbing unnecessary pressure. Sharing goals and being amongst those who share the same can create both momentum and generate more energy. Number 99, use prompt cards. Prompt cards introduce unexpected input, which can unlock subconscious associations and restart forward motion. They're not about direction, but about creating movement. The randomness these introduce can interrupt stuck patterns and present new paths to solutions. Number 100, create a project roadmap. A loose roadmap offers guidance without rigidity, helping you navigate low motivation days while still allowing flexibility. It's a compass, not a contract. When your energy drops, this can give you direction instead of abandoning you to a weary drift. Number 101, do weekly reviews. By regularly noticing what helped and what hindered, you refine your practice intentionally. Progress becomes something you shape, not something you leave to chance. You're not relying on guesswork, you're evolving your craft into a framework best suited to you. Reflection turns experience into learning and learning into growth and a sustainable writing practice. Consistency isn't built by doing everything, it's built by returning, adjusting, and finding the right tools and rhythms that work for you. Writing is not a test of discipline or worth. It's a practice shaped by your life, your energy, and your timing. Choose what fits and leave the rest. If even one idea from this list helps you show up with a little less resistance, then it's done its job.